Welcome, friends, to another exciting episode of A VGM Journey. And I'm your host, The Messenger. The track that we're playing in this week's show is Gunfight at the Sunset Corral from the game Sunset Riders, and that was composed by Motoaki Furukawa. We got some real fun tracks for you guys this week, and even a couple requests from some listeners, which I will say these are some very good tracks. And I say let's kick off with our first request coming from Meatbug. They wanted me to play the track Run from the game Command & Conquer Red Alert, and that was composed by Frank Klepacki. That track that you just heard, that was Run from the game Command and Conquer Red Alert. It was composed by Frank Klepacki, and this was requested by Meatbug. So thank you, Meatbug, for that request. I thought this was a really cool track, and it seemed to struck that balance of rocking, but not too rocking, but also atmospheric without being too atmospheric. It just found a perfect balance of both, which I actually really appreciate. And I actually didn't mind the slow burn, or at least the slow build-up of the track. And I will admit, I haven't really delved into the RTS, aka real-time strategy genre of video games, but I do get the gist of building up your units and then also managing them as you fight against this other enemy team, and that it requires a whole lot of multitasking. So I could totally appreciate that the music, it can get you in that mood without being distracting. And I also like that it's long enough that you don't really get sick of it either. So I just want to say once again, thank you, Meatbug, for that request. This next track, oh my goodness, it is super exciting. I'm really excited to play this. And this is coming from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, specifically the Booster Course Pass Wave 2, which it just came out just a couple days ago. And I wanted to play the track Sydney Sprint, which was originally from Mario Kart Tour. I couldn't find any composer information for both the original and this arrangement that I'm about to play. So I'm just going to credit the Mario Kart band for now. And if anyone knows anything, then let me know. So let's enjoy this track. That track that you just heard, that was Sydney Sprint from the game Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And I'm just saying that it's composed by the Mario Kart band. And I've got to say, holy heck, that track was amazing. It's a whole lot of fun, too. And I thought they did a really good job with the music for Wave 1. Stuff like Shroom Ridge and Sky Garden, I thought they did a pretty fantastic job with the music for those tracks. But for Wave 2, I just thought they stepped it up another level. And tracks like Sydney Sprint, it is just way too good. And I also could have played something from either Snowland or Calamari Desert. I mean, they had some really good arrangements for those courses, but Sydney Sprint, it's fun, it's got this sexiness to it, and the track itself, and I mean the racetrack, I think it's a whole lot of fun too. As you're driving around Sydney, Australia, shout out to Volt Supreme of Volt Supreme's Synth VGM Dream Stream machine. And I will say that I don't think I saw any bugs that could kill people on that track. I think that was a little bit of a letdown, but can't really talk too much about the gameplay though. I mean, it's Mario Kart, you drive, throw items at each other, and listen to really cool music. So I just thought this would be a real fun one for you guys to listen to. And I think with fun time being over, we're going to move on to our next track. And this was a request from Matt Sheldon of Commodore Gaming. He wanted me to play the track Insatiable, also known as the boss theme, from the Final Fantasy XIV expansion Shadowbringers, and that was composed by Masayoshi Soken. That track that you just heard, that was Insatiable from the game Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. It was composed by Masayoshi Soken, and this was requested by Matt Sheldon. So thank you, Matt, for that request. Matt was really hyping this track up when he brought this to me, and when I gave it a listen, I was really surprised on how good it was. I mean, Final Fantasy always had really good music, but I don't really hear too many people talk about the music for 14, and I gotta say, this definitely has my interest. And what I was really surprised about was the subtle sounding vocals that you can't really understand that great, but you can make out some of the words. And it just really sets the tone for an epic battle with giant monsters, and you're with your friends and you're fighting side by side, and it's just wow, it's so much greatness. So I just want to say once again, Matt, thank you for that request. We're going to go way back to the TurboGrafx 16 and play this track from World Class Baseball. This is the edit mode, and the composer is unknown. We have no idea who the composer is. So let's give that one a listen. That track that you just heard, that was Edit Mode from the game World Class Baseball, and it was composed by Unknown. So I have no idea who that is. And that's going to just about do it for the show this week. If you like what you've been listening to, have your friends check out the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever podcatching service that you can think of. I'm more than likely going to be on there. You can email the show at vgmjourney@yahoo.com, and you could also check us out on Twitter at vgmjourney. We also have a Discord server for the show, which I will provide a link for that in the show notes, where you can hang out with your fellow VGM journeymen and talk about games, music, and even look at some cool art. We're going to play things out with one more track, and this is a classic one. And this is the ending theme from Pokemon Red and Blue, and that was composed by Junichi Masuda. Have a good week, everyone.